Ooh. Yeah, hopefully we're live and direct. Coming to you from Sky's the Limit Smoke Shop, 3925 East Olympic Boulevard. Yes, Bigfoot Dwarf here with NorCal, Southern Oregon Bigfoot Project. We have a special guest tonight. We're going to drop our silent intro. Boom. All right, we're going to pull ourselves up on the monitor here. Hopefully you could hear me. And hopefully we get some people up in here. Yeah, I know some of you are live at the moment. It's all good. Yeah, we have T-Bone in the house. Right on. Welcome on in, T-Bone. We're dropping our silent intro, so no worries. Yeah, there's no sound for this one right now. We've been dropping it like that lately. And yeah, so the shop is officially closed, but yet it's open. Yeah, we got my brother here hanging out a bit. So if you need to come in and get some last minute things, it's a good idea to come and do it now. And Todd, I see you in the studio. I will let you in a minute, brother. I'm excited. So yeah, tonight, we have Todd Samples from Bigfoot Wilderness Research. Yeah. I'm excited for this one. And where are we? Where are we? There we are. We didn't get our kaboom in. What's up, y'all? Yeah, I got the monitor pulled up. So we are live. Welcome, everyone. Let's see. What's going on, brother? Yeah, all right. Jonocide up in the chat. I see Gustavo. Bienvenidos, Gustavo. Juliana McGill, thank you so much. I got your message. Yeah, you were watching your hunting buddy live, but you decided to come hang with us. And oh, man, that makes us feel special here. Yeah, I appreciate that. All of you spending time, energy here with us is much appreciated. And we're going to do the same, you know? It goes both ways. We're going to share some time and energy with y'all as well. And we're going to go ahead and just get this started. So, what up, Rich Shot? Did you catch Les Stroud? Yeah, I caught Les Stroud. They're out. You know, several of the guys I noticed there. I seen, several well-known people. And I guess they're at Les Stroud's cabin. I shared that out. The Bud Files, welcome. What's up, Amanda? Welcome on in. Cheers to you. Much love to you, my friend. Yeah, today we have Todd Samples from Northern California Bigfooter investigator. Yeah, out of Humboldt County. Yeah, can you believe that? Yeah, I don't think I've ever even really had anyone in mind that I could bring from out that way. But yet tonight we got someone from Humboldt, folks. I know Julian is excited for that. And hopefully the rest of you are as well. I would imagine most of you have heard of Humboldt County, especially if you're into Bigfoot. And if not, tonight, hopefully Todd will take us there. I usually try to take you there. You know, I bring it up a whole lot. You know, I mentioned about my time living there, my experiences up there. And my heart is up there. I love it up there. Much love to NorCal, all the counties up there. I love all of California. Much love, Cali. And yeah, let's get it going. Let's get Todd up in here. Sweet little intro there, and let's have Todd tell us more about himself. So here we go. Todd Samples, y'all. Heads up. Here we go, Todd. All right. Let's see here. There we go.
There I am.
Todd Samples joined in. All right. Got a little message here. How you doing, brother?
Doing good.
All right. So I could hear you nice and clear. Hopefully there's no echo. I did toggle the echo cancellation thing. I had a little issue last time, a couple of times. I'm getting used to this live streaming, And so you've done this before, right, Todd? So this is not your first rodeo.
Yep.
Right on. And so yeah, I was just explaining and sharing with the folks out there that you're based out of Northern California, Humboldt County, and maybe
Yep.
give us a little introduction of how you ended up there and yeah, how you got into Bigfoot actually, and then yeah, what are you doing up there in Humboldt and some of the latest happenings, and maybe we'll get into some of the previous discoveries and findings.
Okay. Well, I moved up here about 10 years ago, me and my wife, and I had an interest in Bigfoot. I'd watch the Finding Bigfoot show, and I do some internet searching online, and we were looking for a place to move, and we had been through here before, and I thought, well, the film site, the PG film site's close by. Maybe Eureka area would be a good place, and she said yes. So we moved up here, and I found a couple of friends, and we would go camping, and we just start talking about Bigfoot, and they're like, "Oh, you believe in Bigfoot?" And then we just got a little group together. We started camping with a purpose. And he, my friend that I made, Doug, he had experiences uh, for years. He went out camping, but he wasn't really into it because he didn't really have anyone to join
Yeah,
him. But
and
now,
and really quick, excuse me. So you're talking about Bigfoot Wilderness Research is a group. So it's currently, it used to be three, and now it's what is it, two now, or are you down to what's the number right
no,
now?
we have about
Okay,
four
four.
guys.
And then you were just talking about one of the members, Doug, who you used to go out quite a bit with, and
Yep.
and Carrie is another one, right?
Kerry is, but he moved down to Southern California, so he's kind of on the
Yeah, down
outside a
here.
little bit now. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, he's down by
and
you.
yeah, and then the fourth member would be I don't know if I'm
Well,
familiar
we
with the
have
fourth.
Caesar. You
Yeah,
you know Caesar.
yeah.
He's
Salute to
and then
Caesar.
yeah, and then Trevor. He actually lives in Willow Creek now, and
Oh wow,
and he
right
and
on.
he goes out with us. He was on that the documentary for the Willow Creek Museum. Me and him last year.
Yeah, and I shared that out as soon as I got notice of it. And for those folks that don't know out there, yeah, there was a recent documentary, and it was called what was it? What was the title on that?
Um, Willow Creek
Yeah,
search for Bigfoot or something.
yeah, something like that. Yeah, we'll get it, and I'll reshare it tonight again after this. But it was a good, well done documentary, and it got a lot of good
Yeah,
feedback right away. I seen the numbers on that going up, so yeah, congratulations on that. And
it was nice.
yeah, and we got another good friend in the chat here, SoCal Squatcher. Welcome on in, brother. Good to have you here. And so when you first or got into this, had you had done this in any other parts of California, or was it when you got up north that you started hitting the field?
Yeah, I mean, I would occasionally go camping in up in the Kern River area, but I wasn't really. I would look for signs, but I wouldn't go out, really looking. Just looking around the campsite. But once we got up to Humboldt, me and Doug and Caesar, we started really um, going out hiking and actually looking for signs. I mean, that was our main reason, and we, eventually started finding some good signs.
Interesting. And you mentioned Kern River, and that rings a bell for me. So that's here in Southern California, right? Kern County, I would imagine.
Huh? Up northeast of Bakersfield,
Yes. And so
in
that's
the lower,
Kern County.
in the yeah, in the lower Sierras. Actually,
Yes.
where we would go, it was actually in Tulare County. It was a little north of Kern County.
Copy that. Yeah, interesting because I've heard of activity actually near Kern County, and there's a video on YouTube. I don't know if you're familiar with it. Someone took some video footage from the highway, and you could see a subject across the highway, and it's like making its way toward actually like a power pole, which is interesting. You know, we bring up power lines and stuff like that with Bigfoot sightings, and you know, we question whether they may be using it for a easy pathway. It did look like a possible trail up there, or maybe he was on a ridge. But are you familiar with that footage?
Yes.
Yeah, what'd you think about that?
If it's the same one, I think it's by, isn't it? Is it the one that's close to the Kern River?
I believe so. And I actually remixed the video because it was a YouTube channel that really I don't think it was it wasn't a big channel or anything, and I had the ability to remix it, so I did, and then I got response. I forget what the message was, but I did get feedback from someone from the area, kind of giving some more details about the area and possibly the subject. But I got to go back and check that video out and check out those comments again. But yeah, I thought it was pretty interesting because there's this whole thing with the 5 freeway in the Gorman area. Have you heard of
Oh
any
yeah.
activity? Yeah. And
I
so,
think.
and that's right. Uh-huh. Go ahead.
Oh, I think that Tate, didn't he have that thermal footage not far from the 5 and up there in Gorman area?
Yeah, that's correct. And we still, it's not confirmed. We feel it could be possibly a Sasquatch. It's interesting. And yeah, that's not far from there. Actually, Gorman is kind of like a point where we start heading in towards the mountains from there. So yeah, you're correct on that. And I've been to that area I think a couple of times now. And it's a very interesting area. And historically, actually, in Gorman, the last time I went up north last year when I got to hang out with you for about a week, and we'll get into that, folks. I stopped at there's a store. It's an antique store, and outside of it, they have a white Bigfoot
Oh yeah.
cutout. Yeah, and I stopped there and I went in really quick just to kind of ask about the cutout and what the deal was. And I spoke to a gentleman inside, and he was like, "Yeah, well, it's kind of for show, but for sale." And then I asked him about oh no, I hadn't asked him nothing yet. And then he was like, "Oh yeah, but historically in this area, there had been sightings back in like I guess the late 60s, possibly I think in the 70s." And yeah, I had heard of that before. But recently I had heard also some activity along the 5 freeway. So I was like, what is happening out there? And I wasn't sure, but I'm starting to think maybe it's Bigfoot activity, and maybe that they're running across the 5 freeway to maybe get to those particular mountain ranges where we're talking about Tate's area. What's up, brother? And yeah, so and others have theorized that yeah, they're coming down possibly from the southern Sierras, making their way across to these lower mountain ranges out here, like the Los Padres and also the Angeles. They connect to the Angeles, and I've heard also back behind Tehachapi that there's been
Mm-hmm.
activity out there. Even historically, but even I guess more recent here and there. Not so much, but yeah, very interesting. And so heading back up to Humboldt County, how did you first start? Like, what was the game plan? Like, how did you know? All right, so you knew about the PG site. Was it like, all right, let's head to Bluff Creek, or were there other areas of interest that maybe you started first? How'd you dive into it up in the county up there?
Well, the first time we went to the Bluff Creek area, me and Caesar went up in my Jeep. This was in 2018, and that was when we first really started to do some research. And we drove up the Go Road. We went all the way to the end. We're stopping places to look at any sites. Then we came back down, headed. We took the road heading into Laos camp. and we didn't know about Laos camp, but we were driving around. It was getting late, so we figured, well, we need to find a place to camp for the night because we didn't want to drive around these mountains that we've never been in after dark. You know, we get lost and you don't know where you end up at. And we found
Oh
Laos
yeah.
camp. We said, oh, here's a campsite. Let's stay here, not knowing anything about Laos camp or the history, anything. So we stopped there. We built a fire right there, you know, at the main fire pit, right, you know, looking towards the trail going down to the creek. And Caesar goes down to the creek to go swimming. I'm up in the fire, just you know, I'm making a fire, and I'm sitting there. And to my 8 o'clock, I hear this chatter. Weirdest thing I ever heard in the forest. It was, you know, and I'm sitting there listening, like, what the heck is this?
Wow.
There were at least two individuals, two voices, maybe even three. And it went on for about 5 minutes. Finally, I got up, started walking towards it, and it stopped. And the Caesar comes running up, thinking there was a family. Someone had pulled up because he thought he heard a car door shut and people talking, and he heard it from the creek. And I said, "No, I think that was some squatches over there." So we settled in a little bit. About half hour later, he's laying on a picnic bench, and I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden it happens again. Same place, same sound, and it goes on for like 5 minutes, and I get up and start walking that way, and boom, it shuts off. And we were like, "Wow, that was," and we both heard it both times, and it was, I mean, chatter. It was just, you know, and
Wow.
it you know, it'd go and then stop, and then it'd go again. It was just really strange. But that was the first real evidence we had, you
Yeah.
know,
And
and
then
it was like,
no, I was
no,
going to
it was
ask, no,
wild.
no, excuse me, no audio recorders, so none of that was recorded or anything like that, right?
We had nothing. We had
Okay.
no cameras,
Yeah.
no thermals, no nothing. This was just drive up my Jeep and see what, you know, just to explore the area.
Wow. And it's kind of like that beginner's luck. And some might
Yeah.
even say that they could sense when you don't have, like some I've heard some people say that they could sense when you have a gun or not, or maybe they could sense when you have equipment or not, and they give you a little action. But
Yeah.
going back really quick, you mentioned going up the Go Road. And for those folks that don't know, this is a particular road, and it's from the small town of Orleans, and it's a road. Basically, it's like they call it the Bigfoot Highway. And actually 96 is actually the Bigfoot Highway as well, right? Because there's actual forest signs that say Bigfoot Scenic Highway. But the Go Road, because there's several roads that could get you into the Bluff Creek area. And I used to always go up, I guess you call it what, I'm not sure what road it is, but it's right where the resort is.
Oh, Fish
And
Lake
it's
Road.
Fish Lake Road, right? You see the sign right away. So I would come in that way for years, and I never went up the Go Road. I actually didn't even really know, or I didn't want to take any chances, you know. So I would take the first road there and just get myself in there. But the Go Road now that I've gotten to experience it and know about it now it's amazing because it's almost like a highway. It was built for loggers at the time to get product up and down and stuff. So there's some points where it's really wide and it's a really smooth road for the most part. There is some gnarly little areas, but yeah. So the Go Road, and so Alex Pedikov from Small Town Monsters. Actually, it was what was that? The year before last, right? We met up with you
I think
and
it's
Jonathan Easley.
2024. Yeah,
Yeah,
2024, I believe.
2024. Okay. Yeah, that's when we met up with you. Alex came in to town, and Jonathan Easley as well. And you guys
Yep.
did some shooting for Small Town Monsters, right?
Yep.
and that was activity that had happened along the Go Road there, and we'll get into that also. I just want to bring people up to speed with the Go Road in case we mention it again. And so there's a whole documentary over on STM, Small Town Monsters, on the Go Road that you could check out. And yeah, you'll see Todd there, and you might see Dwarf in that one. But yeah, so the Go Road, we'll get back to that. So over to Laos camp, yeah, for those that are interested in, the PG film has been quite in the spotlight lately, and we probably won't touch much on that whole thing right now. But it comes up because it's in the area, right? So Laos camp has a lot of history having to do with the PG and Roger and Bob and others as well. And so check that out, people, if you're interested in some historical Bigfoot stuff, whether you think it's a hoax or not. It's some stuff you should definitely jot down in your notes, some interesting stuff there. And then now we're getting more information and all that stuff. But we go to these areas, and Todd, for the most part, most people go there for the film site, and I don't think I've ever seen you there. But yeah, Todd, all right, man. Um, Todd has really opened my experiences up in that area a lot more, because Todd really gets around there, and Todd and the crew. So you guys have really explored a lot of different areas that I haven't been into. And yeah, so how did you start, doing that? So did you start returning after that first experience? How much time was it? Bring us into how you start getting to know this area of Bluff Creek and Northern California there.
Well, after that trip, we would come up, and we did go to the film site a couple of times, but we figured, a lot of people go there, or during July, there's they go to the film sites, and we figured, well, let's go and look in other areas, and we just started going up the Go Road, finding a old lumber road that was blocked by all these trees and old growth, and we just go in there and cut it up with our hacksaws and chainsaws, and cut our way through. And the road is still in decent shape. You just got to cut out all the debris. And we started driving back in these places, and we'd find some really cool areas, campsites. Like, we would camp at an old helo landing for the lumber companies. They're really hard packed gravel. I mean, a great place to camp. And we would get way down, probably about 1,000 feet up from Bluff Creek into a few of these places. And in a lot of these places we've had experiences, and we've been going up there probably on the average of once a month, either on day trips or on camping trips, small 2-3 day camping trips, or like last year I was up there for 2 weeks. So, and
Yeah,
I mean, that
I
was
was
the
there.
goal.
I was there with you.
Yeah. The goal was, we started going down, every trip we go up, we
Yeah.
pick another
And to
road.
give people also an idea, so you're in the county, and for I bring this up a lot, according to a lot of databases online, and just even word of mouth, Humboldt County, like, let's take BFRO for example, has the most, at least publicly, because we know they have reports they haven't released to the public, but publicly, according to their database, Humboldt County for California has the most reports, and it like blows all other counties away. Yeah, by far. And so, what is it? What is it about Humboldt? I think there's a lot. I think the terrain, the environment. You have the redwoods meeting the ocean, and then you go inland, and just nothing but hills. You go on and on. But yeah. So were you using any databases, and yeah, about maps? How were you able to, like, not get lost, or did you ever get lost, going into these areas?
No, we had, we used maps. We had, Caesar has a very good map app on his phone. It's like a map app for hunters. So it tells private land, BLM land, national forest. I mean, it's really good. So we use that when we're walking around. But we use the maps. We have a national forest map, and we put it into grids, and that's how we will search certain areas.
Right on. And really quick, I wanted to give people also an idea. Yeah, Humboldt is a huge county. And so you said maybe at this time, let's say, so from Eureka, let's say you were living in town, to get out to Bluff Creek, you know, how much time were you doing? Estimating how many hours
Well,
is it?
from my house in Arcata to Laos camp, it's about a 3 hour drive.
Yeah.
But
So,
but but
uh-huh.
to get to the go road, it's about 2 hours and 15 minutes to get
Yep.
to the base of the go road, because we would a lot of times we would just go to like the pond area, which the area that we went to
Yep.
there. It's 2.5 hours from my house.
Yeah. So,
So
and
it's
that's to give
it's not.
folks an idea. Uh-huh.
I would say it's not that bad. I mean, it's there and back is a 5 hour
Yep.
trip, but then we would leave early in the morning, so we get there by 8 or so, and we do our research for from 8 to 3, and then head back home.
Yep. And I just wanted to give people an idea because even sometimes I would, when I was living in the southern part of the county, it would take me, tack on an extra hour, and maybe even 2 hours,
Well, yeah.
depending on things. But yeah, you could be right there, but still, everything's still far away up there. So just giving people an idea, and it shows the effort that you guys have put in. We talk about gas and
Oh yeah.
supplies, food, so that takes some moolah. And
Yep.
yeah, so no, man, thank you for doing what you do, man, and sharing with us as well. So um yeah, so what was the next major experience that you could share with us after those grunts that you had heard there? And also I do want to bring up Laos camp, where he had heard the grunts that he explained earlier, is known also for like hearing weird sounds due to the shape of the campsite and the Bluff Creek going through there. People have described it almost like an acoustic campsite. And sometimes you
Mhm.
hear what guys have called, I guess I heard it last time, they called it audio pareidolia. And a lot of times it could be due to the water, maybe rocks also moving in the creek, different things like that. But yet people have heard things and have experienced strange things at that camp, right?
Yeah. Well, well, with that experience, me and Caesar were in different places. He was actually in the water, and he heard it up in the campsite.
Yeah.
And we've heard that chatter one other time also. So we we know what the chatter sounds like. We know what it sounds like, and it's not what we heard wasn't the creek babbling. It was definitely uh, a creature or something making that noise.
Yeah, and I think I remember you sharing that with me. Was that like at the entrance of the driveway? There's that area there.
Yeah,
Was that coming
it
into
was.
Laos camp? I remember. Yeah.
Yeah, up on that little there's a flat area. I'm not sure if I took you to, but me and Doug, when we were camping there, we walked up to see if we could find a place, and we found a nice um, flat area. Where I walked up there, and Doug walked back down, and he was trying to see me. I could see him clearly. He could not see me at all because of the
Right.
trees and the bushes. So that would be a very ideal spot to stand or sit and observe the campsites, and you
Oh yeah.
wouldn't see anything.
Yep.
So that's some place when we do go there, we will check that area. We'll hit it with a therm at night. We'll always glance over there if we hear any noises, because that's
Yeah.
an ideal spot.
Right on. And we could go on about others uh Uh,
Oop.
yeah. So what was the next major thing that really like happened that was like, whoa, okay, we're getting something here.
Well, next time, the next big one, it happened up in the Trinity Alps. A group of us were staying at a campsite called Hobo Gulch. It's at the very end of a road. It's there's a trailhead there where you can backpack and go way further into. But this road is the furthest road that you can drive into the Trinity Alps. And we were camping there, but 3 miles back is a place we call Dry Camp, where we've camped there before and had some experiences. So we went there one day to hike around. There's four of us there, actually five. No, there's four of us. We had Shane, who was a hunter, and he had a gun. He hiked down the trail. Me, Doug, and Caesar went into this area that we always wanted to check out. So we started going down there, and it just got so thick we couldn't continue. So we hiked back out, got on the trail. We went to look for Shane. Hiked about a mile and a half or so. Found him. We were looking around, so we started hiking back. We got to a clearing, and we, to have a little snack and stuff. And also, we heard three knocks ahead of us on the trail, and they were separate. They were probably, you know, 20, 30 yards away from each other. So it wasn't in one spot. It was knock, knock, knock. So there was three different um, individuals there, we believe. And then we started hearing noises behind us in the brush, in the forest area there. And on the side, there was these bushes, and in one part of the bushes, there was like an opening, like an 8 foot opening, 8 foot by 4 foot opening in the bush. So Caesar goes up to the top area and to look down behind this wall of bush, and Doug goes into the bush just right through that little opening. I stayed out just to see if anything comes running out. And Caesar thinks, well, he sees something in this little ravine, and he asked if anyone walked in there, and we said, yeah, Doug's right in there. So he figured it was Doug. So we left. We that night sitting around the campfire, we realized no, that wasn't Doug. Doug was just right inside the bush, not far, where Caesar saw this thing. So we figured, well, let's go do a recreation tomorrow. So we get there the next day. It's just me, Doug, and Caesar. Caesar goes up where he was. Doug went where he was, and I stood in where Caesar saw this thing. It was inside this little dry creek bed area, and where I stood, Caesar saw like my top of my shoulder, my head. And what he saw walking, he saw from like the waist up, and it was all black. So
Wow.
we started to look around this place, and we're finding all kinds of impressions on the ground. So I started walking up. I heard something in the brush, and I heard a growl. So I walked back down where they were at, and we hiked up this one little hill. We came over this little ridge, and it was like a huge bowl area. I mean, this was probably like a 10-acre big bowl area. And it was, I mean, really cool sight. We found one huge print, like a 17-inch print. And we kept walking. And the whole time we were there, we kept hearing knocks in the tree line or around us. We probably heard 20 to 30 knocks that day.
Wow.
Yeah, it was getting wild, and we were looking around. There's all kinds of tree breaks and piles of wood and stuff. So we found this one area, probably about a 30 by 30 area, had just mounds and mounds of poop. Just like something was just pooping there for for months. I mean, just stacked on top of each other. It was huge. We had taken some pictures, and we are trying to find those now. But we were until we started looking around more. Then we all came back together. We said, well, we were talking about uh, going going back. Then we heard this huge knock. I mean, it was so loud. It was only probably 30 yards away. It was over these fallen trees and down this little hill. It was so loud that we could feel it in our bodies. I mean, it was just,
Oh,
and we figured,
power knock.
okay, yeah, we figured, okay, we've gotten too close. It was time to leave. So we started hiking out, and we could still hear some knocks, and we could still hear like something was walking us out. And what was interesting, when we got there that day, Caesar said, when we pull up to the dry camp, get out, we're going to hear a knock. And I told him, nah, that's not going to happen. And as soon as we got out of the truck and walked to the ridge there, bam, we heard a knock. That was the first one. That was a wild
Whoa.
that was a wild day. I mean, that knock just really scared us.
That's amazing, man. And I totally believe you. And for some people, it may be hard to believe, but getting to know Caesar, I got to meet Caesar, and shout out Caesar. Hope you're well, brother. And it was a good time meeting you, and hopefully we do it again soon. Yeah, Caesar seems like a solid dude. And yeah, so what do you think? Do you think that because I feel like some people just have something about them, it's something about them that they uh could attract almost the activity. Do you think there's something to that, or do you think you guys have just been lucky?
Well,
Do you think maybe your vibe, the way you carry yourself, do you think there's something to that, or you think it's just all luck?
well, we go out a lot. This last winter, we haven't gone out too much because of my situation. But this summer we're planning on getting back out there a lot. But we were, like I said, we were out at least once a month. You know, so I mean, we probably only have had experiences like maybe 10 to 15% of the time that we're out. Because I mean, a lot
Right.
of time we took a day trip last week, and we didn't. It was nothing at all.
Yeah.
Nothing.
So that does happen, and so it's not like every time you go out, things are
Oh yeah,
happening, you're finding
never.
stuff. Yeah. So
But
so maybe would it be safe to say maybe like after a certain amount of Bigfooting miles, you should start getting a something, some sort of feedback, right? At
yeah,
least some scat. Dang it.
yeah. But see, I also believe the more you go into an area, and if you're just hiking around and you're not carrying guns, big old rifles where they can see them, I think they notice you, and if you keep going back to the same areas, they start to recognize this is the same person, or the same people that they're seeing, and I think they possibly could get comfortable with you.
Yeah.
Because once we started because the last couple of years we really concentrated on the pond area and Heinz Camp Road and Bald Mountain. We really concentrated in those areas, and we started. The more we went there, the more often we would have. We find footprints, hear knocks. We find those trees, those small trees that were snapped off. The top was snapped off and twisted around. We find the evidence, or some kind of evidence more often. So that's why we keep going back to those areas.
Right on. And so yeah, so when do you start like gearing up? Do you start getting into gadgets? You eventually get a camera, or like some sort of thermal device? When do do you start thinking about these things? Uh,
Well,
what's the next step up? Yeah.
oh yeah. After the first experience we had at Laos camp, then I started looking into thermal cameras. I have a thermal camera. I have probably about 3 or 4 of the game cams now. I have my phone, obviously. I do have a couple cameras that I'll take and we'll use. Um, some walkie talkies so that if we split up in different groups, or we have one person hang back while we hike out of an area.
Yeah. And
Those are
speaking of
good.
gadgets and stuff, you also got a little decked out trailer now, right? You've
Oh yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So you want
My
to
little
share what you got going on there really quick?
my little hobo overland. Well,
Right.
yeah, it's a neat little trailer because I can pull it with my truck and it goes anywhere my truck goes. Um, we were actually going to go camping about 3 weeks ago, but my leaf springs were really bad, so I had to change those out. But it's a nice little camper. It's comfortable. I got a heater if I need it, and we have a little galley in the back, and it's nice and comfy. And
Oh
I
yeah,
got
yeah.
a little shower going on in my bathroom, and it makes
Yep.
camping a little more comfy, a little more. You're
Oh
not
yeah.
as rugged when you go out sleeping in a tent.
Yep. Yeah, no, your setup is real nice, top notch for sure. Props for that. And so yeah, so getting into some more of the experiences. When do you, so some of these tracks, have you casted anything, or what did you just start just filming stuff, taking pictures? Yeah, once you started finding certain evidence. And then also I do want to talk about, you are also into the stick structures and stuff, right? You do look
Yep.
for any strange sign. We talked about breaks. I noticed this time around a whole lot of breaks on small trees around the Bluff Creek area. And we
Oh
know
yeah.
it's yeah, there's a lot of bear in the area too, that I've seen bear do some weird things with trees, so we keep that in mind. But it's almost like a sign of some sort, it seems like, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, tree breaks. Finding them in certain areas. I mean, because we hike off trail, and you find tree breaks out in the middle of nowhere, and it's like no one would do that. Or we find footprints out in the middle of nowhere. We have about, I think we have 8 casts. We actually just casted a print about 2 months ago up off the Girl Road. About 6 miles up, there's that big turn off to the right. It's it's on the other side. It's across the road from from Head Camp Road. I'm not sure
Mm,
if I took you that way, but
okay.
we pulled into that little roundabout there, and we hiked off trail, and Caesar actually found the print. There was
Wow.
about two or three of them that were visible, but there was one that we could cast.
Yeah,
And
nice.
we
And so and when you say print, usually you could see like toes and everything, right? Because you
yeah
I mean, yeah, so like impressions. I know when we were running around, we found some what looked like possible impressions, but nothing too defined. Um,
yeah
and so yeah, get us into, because you were so like Alex, when Alex came out, everyone was interested in these tracks you guys had found along the Go Road as well. So
well yeah
could you
in
explain,
the snow.
yeah, how that came about, when that was, how far into your research, when did that happen?
Well, that happened actually. The 3 year anniversary was just like last week. That was the day that we went up there. We went up there April 30th, just last Friday, I think it was, or Thursday. We found these snow tracks April 30th of 2023. We had left the house about 7 o'clock, or actually probably about 6:30, and we were driving up we started going up the go road. We got about mile 8, and we started hitting snow. There was some snow on the road, but we got probably about mile 9, and there was also uh, like a snow drift across the road. It was about 4 inches. And it was probably 40 yards long. We drove through that no problem. Then a little ways later, we came across another one. Now in these snow drifts, there's no prints, no tire marks. We're the first ones to go through these these snow drifts, and the second one was probably about 8 inches deep. My 4-wheel drive truck had no problem going through that. Then we come across another one, and it's about 12 inches deep. So I go through, and I barely make it through that. We get through it, and then we get up to mile 10, right where the mile marker is. I stopped there because there's a huge. The snow is like deep and long, and we said, okay, we're not going any farther here. So we get out and we start looking around, and all of a sudden, Carrie says, "Hey, there's toes in these prints." We saw these prints, and we thought, well, maybe it's just someone was walking. But he said, "Hey, there's toes in these prints." So we started to look at them closely, and we're like, "Hey, these are Sasquatch prints." There's and there was a trackway from the blacktop where the snow started over 100 yards up, and then there was more blacktop, and then 100 yards down. And to the left, where the Heinz Camp Road is, which was full of snow, we found some handprints and just random footprints, and you see the snow being messed up. But there had to be at least, 100, 150 prints. And
Yep.
going up the road, the prints, it was about a 4-foot gate, and coming down, the gate was about 6 to 8 feet. So we assumed when it's coming down the hill or coming down the road, it was running. But still, 4-foot gate. That is. Our gate is like a foot and a half.
Yeah.
18
And
wide. This is a good 4 inches. And these prints, well, yeah, you can see them on our YouTube channel. We have videos and
y-
of the pictures, and you see the
yeah,
videos of it up there that day. And yeah, that was an amazing find. Once in a
yeah.
lifetime find.
Oh yeah. And people were skeptical. Even like locals and people,
Oh yeah,
friends of ours, right?
yeah. There was a
Yeah,
number of
yeah, people. Uh-huh.
but we showed them to Bobo liked them. We showed them to I sent them to Jeff Meldrum, and he was like, "Yeah, these look really nice because you can see the toes so defined in them, and also you can see the mid-tarsal break in some of them
Wow.
when they're because you can see some where the heel is still in the snow and the front part of the foot goes all the way to the asphalt, and you can see the little curve in the bottom of the foot where
Yes.
the mid-tarsal break is. And
Wow.
we
Uh-huh.
were we were jumping on the snow, and our boots were going down about an inch, and these prints were 4 to 6 inches deep. And some areas they were only 3 inches, but that's because they went all the way to the asphalt.
Right.
And then you can see the drag marks of the toes as it comes out of the snow. There's yeah, if you go into our YouTube channel and look at the
Yeah.
pictures and the videos, you
So
can
I don't know
see
if you
how nice they are.
yeah, yes, yes. And I don't know if you could see or not, but actually I have your channel pulled up right now.
Yeah,
And
I see it.
I'm scanning through the videos and I actually got the video pulled up. I could play it. So let's go ahead and play this. And yeah,
Okay.
folks, maybe someone in the one of our moderators could share the link to Bigfoot Wilderness Research, Todd Sample and the guys, Todd Samples and the guys. And I'm gonna play this video clip of the tracks that we're speaking of here. And again, I wanted to bring up because we did bring this up with Kaiju Ninja, and thank you again, Kaiju Ninja, Tristan Yolton, for coming on. on our last show, and he has some amazing. I don't know if you got to catch that, Todd, but he showed some amazing footprints, and yeah, so it makes me think of his tracks and others that have been found, and also some tracks that I've found up in the Oregon area. But let's see here. We'll go ahead and play this video since we're talking about the tracks here. And again, this is on the Go Road, folks. Oh, we'll not play the music so we don't get in trouble. But there you go. Look, and in the snow. So a lot of times, also a lot of people probably don't know is that area of these areas we're talking about gets closed off for the season, right? So it's only a certain period of the year that these gates are open. And so the time that you found these tracks here, the gates were closed, correct? So that there was no people up on the hill, or
the gates were closed. There's no, I mean, nobody around. I said the snow drifts across the road that we went through had no tire tracks, no footprints. We were the first ones of the season to get that far up, to get to the mile 10 marker. And this is right in the center of our number one research area, right there by Heinz Camp and the pond. The pond's not far, pond's is 2 miles up.
Yep, and then we'll get into the pond right now, and take a look right here. So these are Todd, I think it's and I know you probably can't see, but it's there's some handprints in this video as well. What look like handprints, right?
Yep, and there's these two handprints. There's footprints right next to him. Like it knelt down and had his hands in the snow, like his knuckles. Cliff Berkman saw this one, and he thought he could see an elbow or an arm also in the snow too.
That is wild, man. Yeah.
And it was like an impression of the forearm in the snow, right next to the handprint.
Yeah, so it was like a crouch down or something like that, maybe.
Yeah, and just put his knuckles down, and maybe his arm went into the snow too.
Laying low from the Bigfoot Wilderness Research guys.
Yeah, I mean these prints were so fresh. I mean, they could have been made right before we got there, and it may have ran off when we, when he heard my truck. But they were, I mean, they couldn't have been no more than 6 hours old. I mean, they were super fresh.
Wow.
I mean,
and we got a question.
It hadn't even melted yet. It hadn't even started to melt or anything.
Wow. And we got a question here. So, and greetings and good evening to Sherry Radway. Thank you for being here with us tonight. She says, Todd, do you know if this area is a deer yard up area in the winter?
Well, yeah, the deer usually come down to the snow level. They migrate down as when the snow comes, because they want to get the grass lower, because there's no grass when there's 5 feet of snow up in the mountains. But there's a lot of deer up there. I mean, you know that when you go there, there's deer everywhere.
Yes, there's a whole lot of deer, a whole lot of bear there, and there's even elk in certain areas, correct?
Yeah, a lot of elk.
Yes, and even some of the streams. So we have been bringing up a whole lot that Bluff Creek in particular, because there's other creeks in the area, and these all go down into the Klamath River, which is the mighty Klamath River. Yes, and there's there should be plenty of salmon in there, and we've heard there's been some updates to the Klamath River, and And so some good news there, and hopefully we'll be seeing a lot more salmon in that area. But Bluff Creek in particular, I know a lot of guys have been mentioning that, there's no longer salmon runs there, right? So people feel
Yeah.
that maybe that due to that, maybe that may not, or that may cause for Bigfoot not to be in the area because, we know Bigfoot loves salmon. I love salmon. But
Yep.
yeah, what do you think about that? Fish, particularly the salmon not being on Bluff Creek anymore. You think that would affect things for that particular area, or you think they would still be around there?
Oh, they're definitely around the Bluff Creek drainage area. I mean, with my research that I've done in the last 8 years or so, our group we really believe there's probably about we think there's four family groups that live up in the Bluff Creek drainage area, from Elk Valley down to you know Onion Lake, the pond
Yeah.
area,
Yep.
Blue Creek mountain area, Nickwood's Peak. I mean, that whole drainage area. From the prints we found, we feel there's probably about four different family groups. So there's plenty up there. We feel. I mean, we found a lot of evidence of multiple Sasquatch in that area still. I know some
Yeah.
people
So,
think they might
uh-huh.
not, they moved on, but no, they're still there. I mean, that's the ideal place for them. There's plenty of food, even if there's not much
Yep.
salmon in the Bluff Creek um, drainage area. But now with the dams being out of the Klamath, um, it seems like there's been sightings of salmon in those creeks now.
Okay.
Not really, not really Bluff Creek, but the other creeks, because Bluff Creek, after that '64 flood, kind of damaged it down there. You know, where you guys hiked up, or were
Yep.
you part of the hike or no?
No, I didn't partake. I was supposed to, but I
Okay,
was like, nope.
yeah. You
Yeah.
got
So
smart.
that was a
But
good
down,
call.
yeah, down there at the bottom where the Bluff Creek feeds into the Klamath, it really it damaged it so bad that the salmon couldn't go up Bluff Creek anymore. That's why there's
Right.
no salmon up Bluff Creek. But there are other creeks that they can go up still, and there's been reports of salmon being seen in those creeks this last year.
Yeah. Yeah. No, there's
That's
plenty. And then
that's a promise. But
since,
there's
and welcome on
also
in. I'm welcoming in Collie from SNX Radio. Thank you for coming through. Cheers to you. And yeah, no, I also wanted, since we're talking food sources in the area, and also there's plenty of berries,
oh yeah,
mushrooms, right? Last
huckleberries, mushrooms, um, blackberries. What are the other ones? There's a couple more berries that I can't remember what they're called, but there's plenty of
did you
food up there.
yeah, the salmon berries.
Yeah,
I
salmon
don't know.
berries.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
those
there's
and
yeah, so
there's the
plenty of
Oregon
food.
grapes up there. I mean, yeah, there's so
Yep.
much food up there. It's remarkable how much food is there.
Yeah, and a lot of that stuff is edible for us too. So if you know how to forage, which
Oh yeah.
I've learned to do that. I love picking berries when I'm up there. And one of the last times I actually went up twice in a year, went in summer and then back in October. And I don't know if we met up on that trip. I think we might have, but I ended up finding some mushroom spots up there. Yeah, I found a bunch of chanterelles and we
Oh
had some
yeah.
yeah, amazing dinner with those chanterelles. I even brought some home
Sure.
for the family over here. But yeah, one of my favorite things to do up there. They say Bigfoot loves picking mushrooms too. So heads up, folks, if
Oh
you're out
yeah.
mushroom picking.
Yeah, there's right around from like mile 6 to mile 10. That region is a lot of mushrooms, a lot of them up there.
Wow. And yeah, we don't want to give burn those spots, but Yeah, Lee, we got to talk about that behind the scenes here, and when it's season. And they say, what is it? Coley's birthday? Is it? I don't know. Did Blazer say that? I'm not sure, but if it is, yeah, happy birthday to everyone out there if it's your birthday. And so yeah, the footprints I mean, I can only imagine the feeling of finding that. And you guys did document that, so there is videos on the
Yep.
channel you could check out. I posted a link there for the channel. And yeah, like SoCal Squatcher says, yeah, it's right. It makes you wonder, because if it is true about Bigfoot picking mushrooms, and even in this particular area of Humboldt County, it's been in some books. I know Politis had put in his books that they go after a particular mushroom, and I want to say it might be the Matsutake. It has a Japanese
Yep.
name to it, but I don't think
Yes, that's a large one.
yeah, and it looks very phallic like, and supposedly it's an aphrodisiac. It's very prized by the Japanese and myself. And so yeah, I've had those before. um, and so yeah, it's definitely a thing. And like SoCal Squatcher said, it's interesting that people have gone missing picking mushrooms. So it makes you wonder, it's like, were they picking mushrooms? Maybe they picked too many, or the wrong kind, and Bigfoot just picked them. Scary stuff. Yeah, it makes you wonder. And as well as with the berries, same thing with the berries. People go. Yeah, so I could only imagine that they would like eating berries. Maybe hard to pick. Maybe they just take a whole branch and like. But
Yeah.
yeah, so yeah, what's the next? So after the footprints, I mean, we'll have take us to the pond, because I think there's some visual sightings that we've had here, right? So you've had some visuals.
I've
Um,
had
and then I also don't want to forget, please take us up to was it Mount St. Helens after too? You guys headed up north and had
oh, it
some
was
experience with the guys up
Mount
there.
Hood. Mount
Yeah,
Hood.
so we'll get into that Mount Hood. So take us back and to the next thing after. Oh yeah, let's go to the pond. Take us to the pond. What happened there? And again, if there's any details you want to leave out, you don't have to mention anything. But yeah, what happened at the pond?
Well, before the pond,
Okay.
down on Head Camp Road. This was in, I believe, January of 22. Me and Doug were going up there in his truck. Went up head camp road. We only got like a mile or so up because of the snow and the ice. We stopped, got out, started hiking down this road, and well, first of all, we got about a half mile away from the truck, and we heard a loud, just a boom. It sounded like a huge boulder, rolled off a mountain, just slammed onto a road or something. It was a loud boom, and we were kind of set back by that, but we kept walking, and there was an area that Doug said this would be an ideal spot for a predator to be. We thought, oh,
Mm.
okay, so we kept going, and the one part of the road turns to the right, and that one keeps going straight. So we kept going straight, and we thought we heard something, in the bush. You know how you hear a little noise in the bush a little bit, and we're going a little bit, and we probably got about 2 miles in, and there was the trees and everything was getting dark. So we figured, well, let's go back, and we start heading back, and we get to the spots where he said that looks like a good spot for predator. And I kind of slipped on the ice a little bit, and I looked up and on that little ridge, probably about 20 yards away. I see this figure going from behind one bush over to the next, and this thing was 7, 8 feet tall, wide, dark brown. Once it once I saw it, it went from one bush to the other, and all of a sudden this tree just started shaking violently. All the snow falling off it, and then
Whoa.
we hear it walking away. We hear like three, 4 steps, and we're like frozen. We're looking at her like I saw the creature, but Doug didn't, and I saw the back side of it as it walked by, and all of a sudden we down the road we heard a knock and a rock clack, and we were like, oh wow, this is that was pretty amazing. Then we went ahead and went down to the truck, and we eventually left. That was in 22. Then in January of this last year, 2025, yeah, last year, 2025, January, we had taken my wife, Myrna, and his fiance at the time. They were going to get married in a week, the next week. We took them up there for a little picnic. Michelle was getting a little nervous because the wedding was coming up. So we go up there, and
And
we're,
salute to the wife. Yes.
so we're in my wife's car, so it's quiet. So we turn down to go to the pond, and there's a stack of wood there on the side that. Me and Doug say, hey, we'll stop and grab this wood. We have a little fire down there. We stop, we get out to grab this wood. He's on one side of the pile. I'm on the other side, like 5 feet away. And we hear this noise. We look up, and down the slope there, we see this thing running away. And we see the back, getting the back side of it, and it's just darting through the trees, and then boom, it's gone in 2 seconds. And we look at each other like, "Did you see what I saw?" And we're like, "Yeah." It was, and we throw the wood in, and we jump in the car. And we just saw, and they're like, "Sure, you did, really?" We're like, "Yeah, we saw a Bigfoot. We just saw it. It was 30 yards away." And they're like, okay, whatever. So we go down to the pond, and we were at the pond, and we did hear a tree knock. Me and Myrna had walked up this little trail, and we found some impressions. And then me and Doug walked past the berm there and back that little area, and where this thing would have ran down the hill, it would have crossed right through this area, and we found a couple impressions on the road, on the side of the road. So we're thinking it ran down and it kept going, and we've had a number of experiences from around the pond. We've
Yeah.
casted a print before. We've had
Okay.
that smell. We've hiked through areas where we've hit that nasty smell. So it's a pretty active area. But that was, twice. That was my second one. But
Oh yeah.
the Mount Hood one, that was
Yeah.
pretty wild.
Yeah, and right before we head north, so yeah, you showed me the pond. I shot a little video there with you there, and thank
Yeah.
you again for showing me and letting me do that. And it's I guess we could there was a grow back there in that area, right?
Yeah, years ago, when we first found the pond, we hiked down, and we hiked about, it had to be at least 3/4 of a mile from where the pond's at. We hiked down the old road that went around. It was full of trees and brush. It was basically just a trail now. We and we came to a spot where it had all these old hoses and pots, uh, plant box,
Wa-
pots,
Water
the black
lines
ones.
and
Yeah, and we're like, "Oh, this used to be a grow down here." But it had to be back in the '90s or something. It was years before. It
oh
was years ago. Yeah, old. But
yeah.
plastic
Yeah.
doesn't rot, but you could tell they're old.
Yeah, no, that was super interesting, and so it makes me wonder. I wonder if maybe when that area was being used for whatever they were doing there. Oh, I know what they were doing there, but
Yeah.
yeah, I wonder if they had any activity because I feel like they kind of stick to their areas, and then there being, a water source there. So it's a spring that kind of feeds into the pond there. It's a
Yeah,
is there a
there's
spring?
a
Yeah.
spring that feeds a pond, but there's two more creeks. I mean, really close that actually all three of these creeks go into each other, and then that goes down into Hines Creek. So there's three smaller creeks right, I mean, within 50 yards. So
Mm-hmm.
there's that pond, and there's supposedly, according to the map, another pond not far away. So there's plenty of water there. I
Yep.
mean, the pond, you saw the pond's 20 by 30
Yeah.
and a
It's
couple
not
feet deep
huge.
or so. No, it's
Yeah.
not huge, but it's plenty of water, and it's
Oh yeah. Oh
continually
yeah.
flowing.
Yeah, and I'm sure all the other wildlife is probably drinking there also. So
Oh, yeah.
yeah. So yeah, let's head on up to Mountain Hood, and yeah, take us up there, man. I haven't been. It's on my list, and yeah, this is and this is why again I'll ask. Is it something about you guys? Whether about your team, because I feel like you all have some sort of magic going on, and I feel like that
Something.
with other folks too. So that's why I'm definitely going squatching with Todd and the guys any chance I get. And yeah, what happens up in or on your way to Mount Hood?
Well, yeah, I mean, this was just pure luck. I mean, we were on our way to Squash Fest up in Longview, Washington, which is just across the state line, um, not far from Portland. So we get up there. It's me, Carrie, and Doug. This is January of 24. Yeah, January 24 or January of 22 or 23. See, 23, 24. It had to be 24. Anyway, we get there. We check in through the hotel. We had we went a day early because we wanted one day to go around the area. We wanted to go to Mount St. Helens. So we drove up there that morning. It's kind of light raining or light. By the time we got there, it was snowing. And there was, I mean, 2-3 feet of snow. The road
Ooh.
was clear, but it was just piled up, and it did start to rain because we stopped in this one area, and Doug wanted to get out and walk, but it was nasty. I mean, just it was wet, and there was so much snow, and we didn't have we didn't have any boots. We had just our tennis shoes. I'm like, I'm not going trauma through this 2 feet of snow in my tennis shoes. So we get in the car, and I think Carrie's driving now, and I'm looking on my phone, and there's rain everywhere, and I see this. I said, well, around 3 o'clock, between 3 and 4, there's an area down by Sandy, Oregon, down by Cliff's museum. And we drove down there. We stopped in the museum, said hi to them. We did the little tour and we talked to everybody. Then we headed up to Mount Hood, which is only 10 minutes away. I mean, from Sandy, it's right. Sandy's basically it's the foothills of Mount Hood. So we're
Yeah.
driving up, and we're looking for a road to go up. We go up this one road, and it's there's houses, and then there's this big lodge up there. And okay, this isn't a good road. So we go back down to the main road, drive back down, take this other road, and we find this parking lot, and then next to it there's this other road that has a locked gate. And we said, oh, let's just stop here at this locked gate because a lot of times there's nothing going on behind locked gates, so there's a chance there could be some activity. So we start hiking up this road. We get about a mile up, and we're looking around. It's quiet. Um, and Carrie's like, "No, this place isn't that squatchy." And probably 10 seconds after he says that, tree knock, bam. And we're like, "Wow!" So Doug's up farther on the road, probably like 20 yards. Then there's Carrie, and then I'm below him about 20 yards or so. And all of a sudden, Carrie hears another knock, and he turns around and looks. He points and says, look right there. And where Doug is at, he looks down. He sees it running away. I run up to where Carrie's at. I miss the whole thing. I didn't see it at all, which I'm like, oh man. But Carrie said he looked over and saw this squatch. It was about, I think Cliff said it was like about 60 yards away or 50 yards from the road. He said it was filling with something with his hands. And then when Carrie said, look, this thing looked right, it looked up right at him. Carrie saw the face. They looked at
Wow.
each other. And then he said it turned around and ran off. That's when Doug looked and he saw it running off. And they saw it for 2-3 seconds. I think Carrie saw it for about 5 seconds, and then
Amazing.
it was gone. And there was snow in there. We were thinking about following it, but we had our tennis shoes on, and this thing was gone. I mean, it was out of there. And we're like, no, we can. I don't want to go after it because we don't know what's out there. And so we end up we hung around for a little while, probably about another half hour looking around, and then we left. We were going to stop by um, the museum on the way out, but it was packed. That was when Dr. Meldrum was there doing a presentation, like the day
And
before.
and really quick,
Squash.
excuse me. Could we hold right there? We're talking about Cliff Barackman's museum up in
Yes.
Boring, Oregon, right? It's the
Yes.
North American Bigfoot Center. Is it?
Center. Yes.
Yes. Okay. And so also your sister says that it was in 2024. She says this is your sister.
Okay. Shelly. Okay. Okay. So it was
Yeah.
2024.
Much love, Shelly, and
Yeah.
you have an awesome brother. Yeah. So you guys are up there, the museum. Okay, the museum. There's a conference happening, and you guys have a sighting, or Carrie does, right?
Carrie and Doug.
Carrie and
I was
Doug have
there,
a sighting.
but I
Yeah.
missed it.
Yeah, Todd missed it. It's all good. We know Bigfoot likes to play pranks on us, and I think he got Todd that time really good. But it's all right. Todd's still on the case. He hasn't given up. And so what? So yeah. So what's the deal next? You guys get a hold of Cliff. What do you guys do after the sighting? And you guys got to head to the conference. What's going on?
Yeah. The next day at the conference, Matt Pruitt has his little booth, and it's next to Cliff's, and we go up. We met. Well, I met Matt over the phone. And I've talked to him on the phone. I haven't really met him in person, but we walk up and we all how's it going, blah blah. And I said, we weren't sure about whether we wanted to say that they had a sighting because we're on our way to Squash Fest. It's like, yeah, sure, you had a sighting on the way to Squash Fest. And we told, hey Matt, these two guys just saw a squash yesterday up at Mount Hood. He's like, what? And then, he told Cliff. And anyway, Cliff wanted to go after the conference on Sunday, stop by there on our way home to check out the area. So we did. Most of the snow was melted, but Cliff was able to find over the next, I think, week or so, because he kept going back there. He kept finding tracks. I think he casted a few of them. Matt was there with his wife, Emily, and Cliff, and then me, Doug, and Carrie. Cliff interviewed Doug and Carrie, and then he found multiple tracks. He actually, I think the next day, him and one of his guys from the shop went up there, and they tracked this thing, this Bigfoot by the trackway, tracked it back. I think he said it went like another 60 yards, and then sat down. He found the handprints and some other footprints, and he said that it went to a spot that overlooked the lower road, like it sat down there and watched us as we left the area,
Hmm.
and then he was able to track it further down to where the Sandy River is, and then that was it. But he tracked it for probably 100+ yards,
That
and
is a trip.
he found multiple prints. So the sighting with the footprints basically shows that it was, it happened. It was, an actual Class A sighting.
That is, and have they submitted that to any databases or anything like that, or have you made a video documenting them on that? Is there anything on your channel that
The
document?
next year when me and Carrie and Trevor and a few other friends, we went up there. I did a little video of Carrie, and he explained. He was talking about it, and
Good,
that's on the channel.
good,
Yeah,
good, good. And your
I think
channel,
Cliff,
uh-huh,
no, I think Cliff did a video of it, and it's on his NABC channel.
YouTube channel, yeah, so we could check that out. And I know Cliff, he's I know he's a foot guy, but yeah, he's really been going
Yeah,
in on the handprints as well. That I find that
yeah.
fascinating because yeah, most of us you're looking for big footprints, right? But they have hands too, so of course they'd probably be leaving handprints and stuff like that as well. So something to practice, what handprints may look like, so you could start keeping an eye out for these things. I'm starting to. Um, yeah, that's that one was fascinating. I thought, with the conference and the museum being there is just like, yeah, who's gonna believe this one, right? But I totally believe it, man, and I've heard it from the guys. So um
and,
yeah, so
and actually,
anything else?
it was only like 3 miles from Cliff's house,
Trip out.
and and only like I think it was like a half mile from another research area that Cliff has, that he's found footprints, and actually there was another sighting, a visual sighting, like a half mile from where we had ours next month. So there was,
Hmm.
obviously there's high activity in that area.
Oh yeah, I could only imagine that part of Oregon. Um,
Also, I forgot to say, on the snow prints, Daniel Prez featured us in the Bigfoot,
oh, the times.
yeah, the Bigfoot Times,
Yeah.
back in, I think it was July or August of that year.
Oh yeah.
So that
Yeah,
was
and I know. I mean, I don't know how much you pay attention to stuff going on lately with the whole PG. I know his name's been brought up, and it's yeah, just a lot of back and forth with things. It's been crazy, man. But yeah, it's interesting. I know he's out this way. I don't think I've ever subscribed, but hopefully you got a copy of that one, and
yep.
that'd be cool to check out. Um, yeah, so I wanted to also talk about so other experiences going back. You mentioned the what is it, the Trinity Alps, and from Bluff
Yep.
Creek to the Trinity Alps area. uh, it's a distance, but yeah, it's right there also, right? So do you think that some of these possible family units that may be in the area could be going into those areas of like the Alps there in Trinity, or maybe like the Marble Mountains, or do you think they head to the coast even? Because I know from Bluff Creek, there's certain points like what's that one spot? I think they call it Around the World or something like that. And you could see like the coast at times, right? You could see the
Oh
water.
yeah. Well, Bluff Creek I mean, Laos Camp is only 18 miles from the coast, as the bird flies. But it takes
Uh-huh.
you 3 hours to get there, because you got
Yep.
to go all the way around. But if you could fly from Laos Camp, you can go 18 miles to Orc,
Yep.
and you're right there on the coast. So
And I
it's not
actually
far from the
went.
coast.
Yeah, yeah, it's not far at all, but yeah, it's far. It's
Yeah.
weird. But Yeah, I got to go through actually Bald Hills Road this time. I
Yeah,
exited that way on out through the what is it, Redwood National Park and into Oric. And Matt, it's crazy.
yeah.
It's the first time I had done it, bro. I've been there so many times, and I'm living in the area, but just never took it. And I've been hearing so much, even from local natives, like from the Hoopa talking about experiences and activity on Bald Hills Road. You talked about Bald Hill, or what was it, Bald Mountain? Um, Bald Hills Road. You ever take it? You ever have anything happen
Oh
there?
yeah.
Or
We we were to go up to Johnson Road, off of Bald Hills Road, and Bobo had an experience there back in the day, probably back like in the '90s. Um, Now Johnson Road, they're doing so much clear cutting there. Everything is shut down for, but we were going up there. This had to be 2019, 20, and we would go out there at night. We would leave at like 4 or 5 o'clock in the evening, head out there. We build a fire and we hang out there, hike down some some of the roads. They're all locked now by gates and stuff. You can't even get off it now. But back then we had a few experiences, just like maybe knocks. We heard um, like some thuds behind a tree, almost like something either jumped out of a tree or like a rock was thrown or a log or something. Well, no major thing. We heard some mountain lion screams out there one night. And that was kind
nice.
of freaky, but
Yeah, I hear that's creepy.
we never found any prints out there. But it was, and now like I said, me and Caesar drove out there last year, and everything was locked up, and you couldn't even get off the road. So, and they're
Hmm.
doing all this clear cutting, so they're doing a lot of lumber work up there, and
Yep.
so we kind of stayed away from there. But back in the day, that was a hot spot.
Huh. There's another YouTuber. I don't know. I've shared his channel out, and he's out of Del Norte County, and I want to say maybe Crescent City area, but I could be wrong. But he has a YouTube channel, and he's uh a droner, man. He loves flying his drone, and he does a
Oh,
little bit of
cool.
squatching. He's into the Bigfoot thing. He's done some videos where he's out looking for Bigfoot and stuff. And he recently shared a video clip from I don't know where was it exactly, but it's a good area, and yeah, there was a subject there. I mean, it could have been a bear, because there's so many bears around there, but it was
Yeah.
strange. And he did a breakdown, and he actually went and did a follow-up to the location and everything, and it's just a mystery at this point, but it was pretty weird. So I'll send that over to you for you to check out. And there's some other stuff out of Del Norte that I don't know if you've checked out, but I'll send that to you just to get your opinion. And I do want to ask, has there been any other like weird, because people talk about the strange stuff that may happen with Bigfoot activity. Some people may report some sort of like paranormal happenings, high strangeness like that. Have you had anything happen along those lines? And then also I do want to ask you what you think Bigfoots are. So yeah, any strange happenings in your
Well,
Bigfooting experiences?
we we hiked up to a place called Bear Lakes, which from the end of the Go Road is probably only maybe 5 to 7 miles as the bird flies from there. But you have to go up to Happy Camp, and you got to go west on take an old lumber road, 12 miles in or so. Then we had to hike in about 4 miles. Very squatchy place. Doug had an experience there back in like 2016. So 2019, me, Caesar, Doug, Blaine decided to hike in there, and we stayed a few nights. We got in there, and there was a campsite. Well, not really a campsite. There was a little clearing in these trees at the south side of the upper lake. So we get over there, and there's all this just, well, we call it garbage. It was like camping gear. It looked like somebody just got up and just left everything there. It was tarps, canned goods, um, um, pots and pans, uh, just all kinds of stuff. I mean, there may have even been a sleeping bag. It was just like they just got up and left. And we cleaned it up. We put it in like in a tarp and we tied it up. We hiked down to there's an upper lake and a lower lake that that the first day we hiked down to the lower lake, found a couple prints. Um, we went for a pretty good hike, and we came back. And that first night, um, we were sitting around the campfire after we ate, and we're there. And about 8 o'clock, we had a knock from across the lake. So I go, okay, this is cool. So we're just sitting there, and about an hour later, it's like about 9 o'clock. It's getting dark now. It's almost dark, and we start hearing like cans clattering together behind us. Like oh, like almost like they had grabbed some of the empty uh, food cans from the area and were like clanging them together. I'm like, wow, that is weird. And it went on. It happened a few times, and then everything was getting slow. So I went to bed, and about 1:30, I wake up. I had to use restroom, and Doug, no, not Doug, Blaine and Caesar are up, and they're just like all freaked out. And I guess they were hearing all this noise coming in. Caesar saw a um an orb. He says,
Mm.
I'm not really much about orbs, but he said he saw this glowing light and it moved and it was gone. Blaine, who's part Hoopa Indian, he was like getting freaked out. He he won't go back to the area no more. He said no, he's not going back there. But it was a freaky night. They heard a lot of noises. And we stayed for a little while longer. There was no noise, so we all went back to bed. Caesar had to leave that next day, so he left. Me and Blaine or Doug walks. He hikes back like halfway with Caesar, and me and Blaine are sitting on the side of the lake there, and there's a big cliff going up on the other side of the lake. It goes way up, and we're sitting there, and Blaine starts he goes banana to get the echo, and it echoes off the side of the rock and stuff. And all of a sudden, we hear this from across the lake, up in this tree area, up in the on the side of this cliff. And we look at each other like, well, that was weird. So he does it again, and we get another return call. We turn just this like huge knock, and I do like I'll do like a whoop, nothing, and he does his banana thing, and he does like 4 or 5 times, and he keeps getting these big tree knocks or whatever. They're not really tree knocks. There's like there's this noise, and I'm like, well, this is weird. And then all of a sudden we hear this like trees falling down, just we're like, oh, this is weird. And Doug shows up, and we go hiking around. We go back to the campsite that night or that evening, and we're hanging out. We hear a couple more knocks towards the sunset, and we're sitting around. There's nothing else happens, so I go to bed. We all go to bed, and I wake up again about 2 o'clock in the morning, and Doug and Blaine are putting all this wood on the fire, and they're like, "Oh, we've been trying to wake you up for 2 hours." He said they're coming in all around our camp. I'm like, who? He goes, there's Sasquatches. There's all these noises, and they're putting these big old logs across the fire because we don't have any salt or anything to get this. And this fire is just like blazing. It's blazing, and we're sitting around the campfire for a couple hours, and it's starting to die down. There's no more noise, so we all decide to go back to bed. We go back to bed, and Doug and Blaine they're out. I hear them snoring. They're snoring away, and I'm laying there. And I can't get back to sleep. And all of a sudden, the fire dies down. I can see the glow through the tents. It dies down to where it's no more glow. And all of a sudden, I start hearing movement all around the camp. It's getting closer and closer. And all of a sudden, I hear these footsteps coming up closer and closer to my tent. I'm laying on the ground. Now I'm in the sleeping bag. I'm not. I don't have a pad. I'm laying on the base on the ground. I can feel the footsteps in my back, the like impact trimmers. And this thing comes 10 feet outside my tent. I mean, it's right there. And I'm like scared. I can't even move. I'm like, what do I do? I wanted to look at my tent, but I was too scared. And after a minute or so, some wood falls from those long branches they put on the long logs they put on the fire, falls into the fire, and the flame comes back up on the fire, and this thing turns around and hightails out of the camp, and I can hear it bam, 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 running out of the camp. And I'm like, wow, that was the most scariest, wildest thing, because I thought this thing was going to just grab my tent and drag me into the forest, and that was it. And then finally, I fell asleep. I wake up at 6:30 in the morning. It's light, and I'm like, "Oh, I made it through. I made it through the night." But on that trip,
Wow.
Caesar said he saw that orb, and we had. I mean that those two nights we had more activity those 2 nights than we've ever had on at any night.
Wow,
That
and
was
you said you're not an orb guy, and we talked about this, right? Because I do have to bring up my little tent, remember my tent
yeah
experience with that strange light, and we still didn't discover what that may have been, but it makes you think. And wow, yeah, that. So, what do you think? You think maybe the whatever it was may have touched those pieces of wood, or you think those pieces of wood may have maybe like just fell on its own. Maybe they burned,
yeah.
and then
I think
that
it fell on
caused
its own.
fire to stoke back up. So that means there's
Yeah,
light again. So whatever it was scrambled possibly.
yeah. It
Wow,
took off
that is
fast.
insane. That
Yeah, that
is
was
amazing,
wild.
man.
That was
Whoa.
wild.
And so
And that
I'm not gonna forget because I do want to ask you what you think they are, but share one more with us. It wasn't a direct encounter of yours or Caesar's, but this is going back to Laos camp. And again, this is where that tent thing happened to me at Laos camp. Um, there was an incident there with some youth, and I think they were local native youths, and they may have had like a rock thrown at them or something.
oh yeah.
uh, yeah, would you like to share some of that? Because I believe Caesar was like the first person that the kids had ran into and spoke to about it, right?
Yeah. We were camping. We had our campsite up by the fire pit, right by the trail going down to the creek. And Caesar was down, where me and you were camping this last year, down by the trail going south.
Hmm.
Uh, Caesar was over there with his camera, taking pictures, or doing what he does with his camera. And because we had met the kids, they're camping there too, and we see them at the creek. They're swimming, and we were swimming, and we were talking. So we had some conversations with the kids and the parents. Anyway, and they knew we were in the Bigfoot. They were down farther down the stream swimming. There's another swimming hole down there they found. They were swimming in, and they said that while they were down there, I think there was 2 or 3 rocks came from that trail area down to the creek and splashed not far from where they were at. Probably like 20 yards or so away from where they were at, but these rocks came down and splashed and scared them because it happened twice. They climbed out and they were running up the trail, and that's when they ran into Caesar, and they were like, well, something was just throwing rocks at us in the water. And Caesar, knowing Bigfoot, that's one of their, but when one of the things that they do, or we think that they do, he came back and got me and Doug. So we hiked down that trail, and right where those kids were at on the trail, you can see, where you when you remove a rock from the ground, you see the impression from that rock. There was
Right.
two impressions right down the trail, or right on the side of the trail, where two good sized, hand-sized rocks had been there, and they weren't there no more. So we figured that whoever or whatever grabbed those rocks and threw it down there. Not really, because it seemed like I had a rock thrown at me. There at Beans Camp. It seems like they don't try to hit you; they just try to throw it near you to move you away, to scare you or to get you to leave the area. And I think that's what they were doing. Those kids, those young boys, something was throwing the rocks down there, or it was
Yeah.
their uncles. They were just trying to scare them. But but
The-
their family, they were all in the campsite at the time.
Yeah.
So they
Well,
weren't.
what I find interesting is that actually this time around, I actually took a little hike back in there, and I want to say I did that before hearing about this account, and I had never gone that far back. I had no idea there was that area back there like that. It's beautiful. It's my new hangout spot, and there's a trail that keeps going, and I guess that's part of Old Bluff Creek Road or something like that.
Yeah.
And so I went back there, and I know, what I found is several of those tree snaps back in that area
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, someone's back here snapping trees. And actually one of them was in the shape of what we call like a trident. So it's like the middle part of the tree, and then it looks like a big old trident, a fork or something.
Yeah.
And it just got,
The way they're broken and twisted around, or we found. Well, I showed you a number of them when we were
yeah.
driving around together.
Yep.
There's a
Yeah,
number. I mean, we we probably found 20 or 30 of those things all around that area.
yeah. And I do also want to mention I have not released, so there's some video of our week that we spent together, and I'm still working on doing the voiceover on that, and I'm getting, learning how to make these longer type videos. So stay tuned for that. I've been saying that forever, but yeah, Todd, I'll be releasing that at some point here soon. So we got to spend some time with each other, I think about a week or so, right?
Yeah.
And got to know each other quite well, I feel safe to say that we're friends.
Yeah.
Thank goodness. And you showed me a lot of places I had never been to or seen in that area, man, and I thank you for that. And yeah, there was something I wanted to ask. Oh, there was, where is it? It's coming back. It's coming back. There was, so yeah, that was that experience there. There was something. So yeah, let's just go ahead and ask you what you think they are. What do you think they might be? Are they just flesh and blood? Do they have some magical powers to them? What does Todd think Bigfoots are?
Well, I think they're an upright walking primate species. Um, this one lives, in the North America, the 6 to 8 foot tall, hair covered primate. Um, they're, I mean, I don't see any magical powers, but they are very smart, and they're smarter than we are out there in the forest. I mean, that's their house. That's where they live. They, I do believe they know we're there before we know they're there. And I think really the only time we see them is if they want us to see them, or we're just like the 2 times I've seen them. It was just pure luck. I was just caught them off
Yeah.
guard.
And you see, and I think, yes, they're flesh and blood, but I think there's something to them that I don't know. I can't explain. So we have our two different, our opinions and our feelings and our thoughts, and we get along. We don't. There's
Oh
no,
yeah, it's
yeah,
well because I mean,
right.
no one really knows what they are yet. We have our opinions, and we both could be wrong. I mean,
Yeah,
who
and
knows?
yeah, and talking about online. I mean, I listen to a lot of different shows, people, experiencers, and there's people out there that'll tell you where they came from, where they're going. They could tell you what they're going to be doing next week. I mean, it's wild, man. And so, yeah, I really like your approach to the whole topic, man. And you ground me as well. And yeah, man, I've learned so much from you, Todd, and it's super cool. And I can't wait to get back out the field with you, and I feel like that's gonna happen soon. Fingers crossed. Uh,
This summer, couple
yeah,
months.
yeah. Hopefully,
I'm,
I'm doing what I got to do right now to make that happen, brother. And it's gonna take a miracle, but hey, it always happens. So I have faith.
yeah.
Is there anything else? Any other experiences you'd like to share? Is there anything coming up for the Bigfoot Wilderness Research? Any plans for this year or the near future? Any new maybe videos, documentaries, new gadgets? Anything you'd like to share with us?
Well, me and Doug, we've been the last couple of years. We've been talking about doing a longer documentary. We want to go up, like, do like a 5 day trip. Go up Fish Lake Road, stay the night. One night above Fish Lake on that road, and then go up, stay a night up on Lonesome Ridge Road. That road that we took. Stay up there one night, then go up to Elk Valley, then down to Beans Camp, and then maybe Laos Canyon. Just do one night at each place and just document it and see. Do just film our research, hiking around, see what we find, and that. So we're hoping to do that maybe in June,
Right on.
if
And
not
you know
June,
what?
sometime this
Uh,
summer.
okay. And then as far as like, do you have a camera ready for that? Are you
Yep.
working on getting some things? And
We
then
want.
also, I think you should, like I'm starting to get into the longer format video. I think it's totally cool to do that. And I noticed on your channel, it's a lot of short videos, which that's how that's how most of my videos are. Very just, using the phone really quick. And I know in the YouTube thing, it's a whole different world. I've been learning. I'm like, oh yeah, like putting out a YouTube video, usually there's a formula to it. There's like either intro and different little things you could do. You could get creative with it, which I was like, oh yeah, like I had never done that, and I'm starting to learn and give it a shot, and I'm liking it. And you ever thought of maybe you know having a little more fun with your videos? Maybe is there any maybe some new software you'd like to get into? And if you ever have any questions, not that I know much, but any little bit I know, I mean, I'm always willing to help and share with you, man. And yeah, because I'd love to see your numbers go way up, and people checking out your stuff, and even my channel. I that's what I like also. A lot of the smaller channels, because you find like the real stuff, I feel, and some other channels are really questionable. But yeah, so what do you feel about the channel? I mean, are you feeling you're gonna maybe put in some more time into the channel, or just maybe work on these projects and then just keep releasing like you're doing?
Well, we were putting out probably one little short video a month. This last winter, it's been kind of slow because of my situation. But starting this summer, we're going to start going back out a lot. I have some a few things I need to put up there right now, probably about 3 or 4 videos. But it seems like the shorter videos, more people seem to like the shorter videos, not the, you sit there for a half hour watching something. It can be a little hard. But
Mhm.
I think, like I said, we're planning on doing a longer one this summer.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we do get that done. Um, it just the more we go out, we usually film every time we go hiking. Just even if it's just us hiking, looking for things. I mean, that's basically all we do. We record our research,
Yeah.
and sometimes there's nothing there, or we're just describing an area, and but sometimes we find prints, and we film ourselves casting the print. You can see us, see usually Doug's our our plaster guy, so he usually does the casting, and we film him casting the prints. And so it's I don't know if it's the most exciting channel, but we film our research, and we
Yeah.
that
No,
way,
no. It's all,
if something happens, if we come across something extremely great, we have it on film.
yeah. And I think that's the way to go. I love channels that document and show and share. It doesn't mean you have to share everything, but hey, let me see something. And
Yeah.
you guys do show and tell, and it's awesome, man. I think you guys are an awesome group, and best of luck to you guys, man. Yeah, we definitely got to do this more often. Anytime you want to hop on here, talk, and maybe you got an update for us or whatever, feel free to reach out, Todd. And again, we'll be talking behind the scenes later, talking about later this year. And yeah, we'll see how things go. But yeah, I do want to also share out your channel once again, and hopefully folks will hop on over there, hit that notification. I know Diesel said he's gonna add you on.
Oh,
And
cool.
Diesel also says boots on the ground is the best way. Yeah, Diesel
Yeah.
in New Jersey does a lot of boots on the ground with his other half as well. That they're one of those power couples. I like to see the couples out there. And that's cool that, wifey, I got to meet your wife, and
Yeah.
very lovely lady. And yeah, I don't think it's interesting. How would I say this? Not yeah, it wasn't easy. Yeah, I feel like sometimes you gotta get accepted, right? And so I feel like I passed the test there, and thank
Oh yeah.
goodness. Yeah. And I think my Spanish helped.
Yeah.
Uh, and so anyway, yeah, no, I hope to see her again soon, and the guys as well. Hopefully they'll be checking this out. And I'm not gonna hold you too much longer. We're almost at the 2 hour mark here. We might as well
Yeah.
make it 2 hours. And yeah, I just want to give you the mic once again. Is there anything else you'd like to share with the folks here? And I'll pull up your channel once again in case anyone's just jumping into the stream here. Yeah, anything else you'd like to share, Todd?
Well, just go onto our channel and watch the videos. He said subscribe and like, and we're
Yeah,
hopefully there'll be some more videos in a few weeks and in the coming months. But yeah,
yeah, and uh-huh.
we
I
have
was gonna say
the
no pressure either, brother. You do your thing.
the videos of our castings and uh, our adventures in the forest, and that's always fun. That's the main thing. I mean, even if we don't find anything out there on a trip, it's still fun, especially if we
Yeah,
meet up with friends and different ones, and even when we meet new people out there. I mean, you usually in July we run into people that we've never met before from people, all parts of the country.
yep. Yeah, it's amazing. And it's something about Humboldt County too. Not only like that area there, that in particular, like, yeah, Bluff Creek, and then, you meet some wonderful people, but it's happened to me all throughout that county. It's something about that county. I've met some of the raddest people, and I can't wait to meet Juliana McGill in the chat. Yeah, and then I could actually, it may be interesting if you guys are interested. I could link you guys up because I think you guys would totally get along. And yeah, again, let me see. There was something else that had popped into my head here that I wanted to oh yes, so some behind the scenes stuff. So when we were on the Go Road with Jonathan Easley from Western Bigfoot Explorations and Alex Pedikov from Small Town Monsters, do you remember when we were on the side of the road there, and someone was up there pew pewing their pew pew pew, and had left a bunch of shell casings on the road there. And we were up there filming, and somehow, one of these casings got lodged into your tire, right? And we're up in the wilderness there. There ain't no tire shops nearby, and we're starting to freak out. Like, Todd's got a.
No, it was in Doug's tire. It was in Doug's tire.
There we go.
Yes. And he was extremely worried about it. we drove down the road a couple miles, and he was like, "Oh, this thing is making a lot of noise." So I just walked over and I grabbed it and I pulled it out. And he's like, "Wait, don't do that!" And nothing happened. I go, "Oh, it's okay." And but he was extremely worried with that. It was a rifle casing. It was,
actually,
actually,
I don't know if it's a rifle casing, but it's right here, brother.
Oh, you got it still. Oh, you got it?
I still have it, bro. That's my little.
Oh, wow.
That's my little charm memory from that moment.
Oh yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, I didn't know you still had it.
Yeah, I'll find out the caliber for you. We'll figure out if it's a rifle. I think it's maybe a 9 or so. But
if you look at the bottom of it, it should tell you.
Yeah, it's all, you can't see it. It's all black.
It's all roughed
but
up.
I'm sure it's probably a 9 if I'm a guess. But
I think Bobo was there too.
Yeah,
we were at the 11-mile marker. We're there interviewing Bobo.
Yep. So it was us at first. And then we hear like this vehicle racing up the hill, and all of a sudden, it's like beep beep Bobo, another Bobo sighting. I've had several Bobo sightings at Bluff Creek, folks. Yeah, that's some other behind the scenes stuff. Funny stuff there, and good times, man. It looks like a 38, says Juliana. You might be right, Julia. Well, yeah. Well, which
is it that small?
Yeah. Well, would a 38 would a 38 leave a bunch of shells on the ground? Doesn't it stay? Isn't it a revolver? I don't know. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not a
big
huge gun guy.
Yeah, it's too big for a 9, and I trust Juliana. What's up, brother Hillbilly Herb in the house? Greetings to you. And we're gonna wrap this. What else? Also,
the Willow Creek Museum.
Yes, shout out to Eric.
Yeah, if you're in the area, stop by that the China Creek Museum and Bigfoot display. That's they have some great displays of prints from the PG film site from the 57
tracks. Yes,
Jerry Crew, the Jerry Crew tracks.
Mm-hmm.
Those are there. There's a lot of nice tracks, older tracks there.
Yeah, and some originals there as well, right?
Yeah, some new ones.
Yes. Shout out to Eric over at the China Flat Bigfoot Museum in Willow Creek, California. Willow Creek. It's like
capital of the world.
Yep. You could get your Bigfoot steak over at the Bigfoot Steakhouse. You could go and sleep at the Bigfoot Motel. You could
walk. you could walk across the street from the hotel and get your hair cut at the Bigfoot barbershop.
Oh, and then after that's if you decide to do that. But Bigfoot doesn't go cut his hair there. Bigfoot doesn't cut his hair, does he? And in case you do happen to be on that side of the street, I think you could go over to the Bigfoot dispensary as well, right?
Yep. And after you go there, you might be hungry. You can go to the Bigfoot Pizza.
Oh,
Bigfoot Pizza.
yes, folks, all happening in a Willow Creek there. And let's see,
Yep.
we got brother Michael Burns in the chat, man. And you know what? You guys, I believe, may have lived in the same town. I won't mention it, but yeah, he's a fellow Humboldt ex-resident. Like we're never ex-residents. I mean, I want to say if you live there, your heart's probably there. So we're still there, man. But yeah, Michael in the chat there, and he says, I've been up on Bald Hills Road with my dad in his logging truck back in the late 60s. Wow.
Oh, wow. Oh, yeah. Back then, there was some activity back then.
Oh, yeah. Something about the 60s and the 70s. Seems like Bigfoot was really active. Makes me wonder if like the bottom of his legs were like a lot shaggier, kind of like bell bottoms. Maybe he had like the chops, the side chops going and stuff. Right? Hey, all right. So we have hit the 2-hour mark here, Todd and chat. And I want to say it was a good one. I think we should roll it up right here and light it up.
Went by fast.
Yeah, man. And again, the doors are open anytime, brother Todd. And I want to say thank you.
Yeah, if we get if we have any more information, I'll give you a call and I'll come back on and we'll talk about it.
Yeah, we'll set it up. And I want to thank everyone out there again. Coley, if it's your birthday, happy birthday to Coley. Yes. Whoever else out there. And yeah, I want to thank everyone. I'm glad this worked out, man. I was super excited and we made it happen, Todd. And again, thank you for spending some time, energy, some knowledge, some evidence, man. Yes.
Thanks for having me in.
Yeah, maybe when Lord,
if we get together this year,
you and yours. Sorry,
if we get together this year at Laos camp, we need to do some filming and together and maybe do a live interview. Me, you, and maybe Tate or whoever else is out there.
Yeah, sounds good. You know, as we're learning that now, there's little spots where you could go live around Bluff Creek, and I don't know, maybe we should bring some gadgets to help boost that signal. And keep that. We'll keep that in the works. And again, may the mighty Lord bless you and yours, Todd Samples, and everyone else as well. Blessings, everyone. Thank you for hanging out tonight. And I'm gonna have to think of a name for the show when we interview people. But I'm gonna do a little extra work on our thumbnail. I got one right now ready that I shared with you. And there's Digger Dog. Hey, all take care and be safe out there. Digger Dog is another guy who it'd be cool. He's out of Sonoma County, and he knows that area up there well. So I know he'd be a great person to talk to in person. And maybe one day I'm always supposed to like set up to stop by Digger Dog's place on my way up there, and hopefully soon we'll make that happen. And again, thank you, everyone. You all have a blessed night, and we'll just wrap it up here. Todd, you take care, brother. I will be in touch with you. And we're out. We're gonna hit our outro here. You feel free to hang up or do what you got to do. We're gonna hit our outro.
Okay.
One second, it's loading. It's like, there we go. Boom. And press play. Come on. Come on, outro. There we go. Some audio. One love, y'all.